transportation, should we reach out to them and give them a date that we could talk to them?
Yeah,
All right, do you want to do it on Tuesday morning, see if they can come?
yeah,
Okay.
or they may want to do a joint meeting if they're gonna do
All
different
right.
things, but figure out some dates. If we can, just let us know.
All right. And Deanna wanted us to announce the town clerk tax collector are starting their winter hours. They'll be open Monday to Thursday, 8 to 2.
Okay. Making a quick note here, okay.
Okay, that's it.
The tax rate with Michelle. is
Right, I have that lower on the agenda, so we can go ahead and go through those forms. and-
Okay, good,
yeah.
I saw it on your notes, I just didn't want to forget that one.
All right, sure.
Okay, super. All set, you said?
I am.
Good, thank you. Lenny?
Not much here. We weathered the storm pretty well, the roads held up, except for a little problem Wilkinson Swamp Road, but get that remedied. One culvert was unplugged itself, actually, and the other one they got yesterday morning, so both running clear. They patched the road up, did some grading.
Did you get any indication with any discussion or if there had been any current beaver activity?
No, it was just all probably stuff that was in there collecting.
Okay,
Because when I checked it earlier, there's some, the down riverside, the culvert had a lot of stuff in it
okay,
at the end that had washed down, and it probably just stuff floating down and just kept backing up and backing it,
okay,
but there was no fresh beaver.
okay.
Not that they won't move in there, but
No, I've been watching it for the last year. And
Yeah.
just you had
I
told me
think
that
it was
they
just stuff that was in there and it kind of,
Okay.
yeah, they're running clear now, so. It's kind of nice when you see that go whoosh and all that water just comes bubbling up like a guts. Pretty good, a lot of weight behind it. But, Bailey Road, I think that is worse right now than it was a week ago.
with the washout part.
Yeah,
Okay,
and when I was talking with Brad, we gotta take a few minutes and straighten the sign shed up. He said, I can't even get the snow blower out of there, so I needed it. So I said, yeah, I'll bring it up Tuesday and kind of straighten, put the signs away, so.
you want to do it today or
Yeah.
later this week?
Yeah, if it's not too late today.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for right now, other than I did, like I said, did get a hold of Kevin Cody finally, but nothing's been resolved there, so haven't heard back from him. He's checking for the door or whatever, so.
Okay, good.
Chuck, do you have notes from Tom or?
No, I do not.
Okay, so yesterday he came by and gave me the form to order the 2 barrels
Okay.
and the catch basin for,
Should be 4 barrels. With the original discussion.
he probably wants to discuss that with you.
Okay.
And,
Did he kind of review it and look?
Yeah.
Good? Okay, that's good.
and
Let's
then,
get to him in here as soon as we can. We can
Okay.
actually start collecting one.
and then,
You talk about signing?
no, he talked about Cemetery Road
Okay.
and he said that's all set. Evans Brothers
Came out, graded.
graded, everything's good out there now. And we had a complaint that he was following up on from last week about a street light being out.
Mhm.
He did a drive-by. It looks like it's a personal light, not a town light. He's gonna verify the phone number with me and I'll check with Eversource.
Okay, good.
Those are the 3 things I know.
I know we need to have specific signage around the oil building and for the oil tanks. and
Oh, right,
whatever.
Clean Harbors is gonna provide that once we get ready for.
Okay. Super, okay.
You still have a list of the streetlights they were turning out,
Yes,
because there's some that, there's a couple right on Lord's Hill that I don't even know why they're on, because they're not doing anything.
okay, the list is on my bulletin board, so we could look if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, we can revisit and add to the list. We need to. that'll work. Okay, transfer station. We just got into the oil containment discussion, so that's there. You know the status of finishing the building. when I was down there on Saturday, I did a little walk around looking at the scrap metal dumpsters, the bottle dumpsters, whatever, and a couple things are pretty apparent. We need to look at getting some concrete underneath the dumpsters. Right now, as they're being loaded by the truck and pulled up onto the ramp, because it's like 2 feet of gravel in there, it's just mounding the gravel up. And when they come back and drop it, it's no longer going flat. So we've got to come up with a solution on that. We'll also need to take a look at the retaining wall up against the bottle bin. That was incorrectly installed when it was built, and it's actually caving in, it's caving out. So we're gonna need to take a look at a project at some point to redo that. We're gonna try and get some numbers on what it would take to do that, because we actually do have a reserve fund for that particular transfer station area that was put in place last year. That's where the fees that are being collected go into for purposes of similar to this. So we need to kind of price it out, we'll figure out what to do, and then figure out if we can do it. If so, we'll do a warrant article and we'll have it put in for next year.
Hey Chuck, along the lines there at the transfer station, I brought some metal down last week. And I know, the retaining fence there, on one side of it, looks like the clips are gone that holds the actual chain link to the rail, to the
Okay,
post.
okay.
And it's starting to blow out on the bottom as well. So maybe just kind of tie that fence back up.
Okay, all right.
Just an observation.
Chuck, on the, that concrete.
Pardon me?
On that concrete, I actually had reached out in the past with a design to Dave Allward over at East Coast Foundations, and we had
And you and Lenny had worked on that, right?
I put something together and I worked with Mr. Allwood. I presented something, but it was out of our price point at the time. It was about $43,000, but that was to do a slab where the bubbles are all the way out, containing where the metal is, bringing a portion of the wall out where the trucks have difficulty getting in, a mirror issue. So it's expanding out a little behind the shed, the little white shed there, to give us more room should we put something in the replacement. So it was to bring that all in and do a bit of a knee wall where the glass is, so that you could actually put a kind of a roof system over to keep the water up, because that collects in the glass and we pay by the ton. So I have some of that, work that was done initially. If I can drop it for you to be.
Yeah, if you could pop the notes in here and Audrey can recop the notes, you put Lenny's
Sure.
mailbox for that.
I
Yeah,
can-
we need to start addressing the issue because it's getting worse, not better.
I have to dig that out.
Okay. All right, let's see. The other thing we need to do is, the old oil container is sitting outside, it's still got sludge in it, there's a couple barrels in there, they have sludge in them. We need to get those pumped clean so we can actually dispose of that whole thing, so we call Clean Harbors to come up and take a look at that and schedule that to be done. Okay. Ambulance report, do we know if that's up on the town website? Are we supposed to?
I sent it to her yesterday. I had
Okay.
to look to see if she did it.
Okay, no, that's good. I just want to make sure we started doing that,
Yeah.
so people in town can see it.
Yeah.
So, because it gives people a flavor for the workload that's Action Ambulance is doing with the people of the town of Effingham. And it also spells out in our specific report for the 6 towns, the impact of High Watch, the Green Mountain Treatment Center. So far, with the report that we just got year to date, High Watch has had 51 of the total of 271 calls up there, which is about 18%. And we do have a contract with them for reimbursement at our current rates, annual rates. So 18% of basically the budget will be coming back to the town as a result of that over the course of the year. ETF funds, we've got enough money in the checkbook. I know we usually waited till early December to do it, but we could fund those right now and give the trustees a report ahead of when they usually do their meeting in December. I don't know how you feel about that, but if not, the checkbook.
Let's get it done.
Okay,
You want me to prepare that for next Tuesday
Please,
for
yeah.
signature?
if you would, yep. Okay. And I mentioned the county payout for 219. And okay, so Linda and Lawrence, that Audrey announced that Tom had given her information yesterday. That cemetery road's been completely graded out and done, that was done last week. And Tom
Yes.
following up on it.
We have been up there, we took a ride up there, even after the rainstorm, they held up very well.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Oh, one of the only roads that held up then.
Well, they did.
Good. All right, that's important. All right. Let's see, the oil shed we got. Anything on the new business for you, Lenny?
No,
Okay. Budget reviews. We can dive into these. So assessing, I know we actually have the 5-year contract. I know we usually, the 5th year is the big year because of the total town revaluation. I know we decided to make it a level funding each year, so we're saving some of that each year. We'll get into that 5th year, we don't have a big bump in our taxes, we just be able to pay the bill. Do we know if that 30 is still the number we need to put in there for?
Yes, we went over it with Dave Strauss on Friday when he was here, and he said 30.
That's good,
Yeah.
all right. It looks like tax maps go up a couple $100. And I noticed we were a little bit over that budget this year based on what's come in.
We did reduce the office equipment and postage because we're not doing the inventories any longer.
And the utilities, what are the utilities we have to pay for under assessing?
That's for Mr. Rosewood
assessor.
himself, it's outside the contract, there's set hourly rate.
Oh,
You
that's the
never know what
Eversource
That's gonna
stuff.
be, so
Okay.
you tend to fund it for the
All right.
amount.
And deeds went down, do we know why?
We did that based on our estimate of what we're actually spending. We looked at the last 2 years and felt that that could go down.
Okay, good.
So that's the
So that means
recommendation.
the budget would actually go down in this line item for next year. Any
And the
questions?
software is the kiosk, the online kiosk.
Which is important for a lot of people. Anything?
no.
Okay. All right.
Once it goes down, I'm happy.
Ready to vote on it? Yeah, all right, so the budget for 2021 was 37,750 for line item 4152 assessing. I'll make a motion to approve the budget for 2022 at the amount of $36,400. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, for aye?
Aye.
Yay, something went down. Okay, muni buildings.
On the municipal buildings, I basically did the same thing. We looked at the last couple of years' actuals, where we are year to date, and we are recommending a reduction in the electric and the heating fuel. The salaries are for the person who cleans this building and our winter snow shoveling, winter clearing.
Which is funny, we got Brad doing that.
Mhm.
I got a question on dropping the heating fuel.
Yeah.
When you take a
me
look at
too.
the price of gas recently, and it's not expected to go down, fuel is up. So I think we ought to keep that one at 12, not 10.
We still only spent, we talked.
Right,
about
we
that.
went over this in
I
detail.
know. So far this year, we spent 8,000.
And they just built, I believe, the fire station.
Yes. Everything's been built.
So it's up to you, but that was our recommendation.
Well, I just got fuel yesterday at 3:15.9.
Well, most everything we have, most everything on this is LP gas, so
Yeah.
it's not the same. as-
Right.
Well, I mean, if one goes up, they're all gonna
They
go
do
up.
go up, yeah.
Chuck, one of the things with the municipal buildings fund, and we've been constant for a lot of years at $74,000 is because it's the total gets used in many different ways because this encompasses a lot of projects that come up. Example, the boiler system, when we replaced it here, all was able to fit into this budget. So there is a certain amount of usage that is really not quantified on a year-to-year basis on this. The other thing is when you go over the 74,000, that's when you dip into the municipal buildings capital trust fund. And we've done that a lot. So to preserve the trust fund, you tend to have some money in here that you can, for those emergency things, roof leaks, what have you. Like I said, that front door was priced out a few years back at $10,000 should it fail. So the 74 tends to be a good number. Some years you're over, some years you're under. I know you're talking about heating fuel, but the number is kind of set for not just, the individual items.
Yep, okay. I'm good at moving the fuel back to 12 if you want.
Yeah,
All right. And that would then bring us to a total of 73,000. Which is down 1,000 from last year. Ready to vote?
yep,
Make a motion to approve the budget for 2022 on line item 4194 municipal buildings in the amount of 73,000. Here a second.
second,
All those in favor, for aye.
all right.
Okay, EMS contract. This one at this point, we don't have the numbers on yet. We haven't got the information in from action. So I will put it to do on the follow-up for next week. Last year, we budgeted 112. Excuse me, 125. We had moved some of the unassigned fund balance over 13 grand against that total. If the calculation numbers are correct this year, because we are higher use, we knew we were higher use last year, that's why we over budgeted. That's why the 89 we're actually probably gonna spend this year or a little above that. We knew we were under because last year the 6-town group did not to adjust the formula. They are adjusting it this year. And when we originally ran it, we were a little under 10. We're now running at about 13, but they agreed 13%. But they agreed during the meeting with the preliminary numbers they had, we'd be like 12 and a quarter. So I suspect the number is going to come in between 115 and 120, which would be pretty consistent with last year, but it won't be 89. So we'll wait on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Street lighting. The budget for last year was 8,500. Budget request for next year 4,500. And part of the reason for the reduction in that is we have turned off a number of lights in town based on an outsourced review. I get how many? 15, 11, 12, 13 out of 28 or 30. or
Yeah,
something
there were
like
10 or
that.
12 lights, I
Okay.
think, and the way that we calculated this is we only had 2 removed as of the last bill. The bill went down by $50. So we estimate the number of lights. Yeah, it's a total of 12 lights times $25 a month. And took that off of our $575 monthly bill that we've been experiencing times 12, and we came out to 4,200. We left it at 45.
Comments? Questions?
So how many more are we gonna turn off?
Depends what you find on Lord's Hill.
Oh,
I think
okay.
there was 12 or 13. on the
There were
list.
12 and 12.
Well, And they turned all 12 off.
No, they're doing.
To the best of my knowledge, they're done now.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
We
And,
just haven't seen a bill reflecting all of them done yet.
okay, when you do call Eversource, remove that cover at the library wire, would you also tell them that the light, the first light coming off Townhouse Road into the parking lot is blown out again? And there are no trees around it because we took the trees down. So I don't know what the issue is, but while we're paying for that one, it should be running. All right, I'm good with 4,500.
Yeah.
Make a motion for line item 4316, street lighting for the 2022 budget in the amount of $4,500. Here a second.
Second.
All those in favor, Fuller, aye. Parks and Rec, we had actually determined we would meet with the budget committee and do this one together.
Okay.
Unless you want to pass this now and revisit it, then I'm open to join. It's going to be a spirited discussion.
Yeah, but I think there's no way around not doing it. I mean,
Don't we only have this verbally, this amount?
I met with
Oh, you did.
Matt Sawyer and the Park Rec and the highway guy. And basically with the minimum they would get from us next year would be 30, but that was not a final number. So we know no matter what, it's gonna go 10 to 30 if we keep it. It could actually be slightly higher when you look at their actual costs. And you relate it back to the number of kids that are using the team system from Effingham, it should be about $80,000. So we're still getting a good deal if we continue to offer that service. So I'm willing to wait for budget committee discussion
okay.
if you are.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, this isn't gonna be the exact figure.
I'm hoping it's the exact figure, but we haven't got confirmation on it yet, but I will reach out to Matt. I know Dave, the chair, budget chair, has been having regular discussions and emails with them about the information.
A lot of money, but I think we have to do it. Still cheaper than our own rectifying.
Yeah, we could not afford to do it in our town at this point. Okay. Tax rate, 434-hour update.
Michelle Clark called and she had changes to the MS 434 that we submitted. She raised the meals and rooms tax, and which is the state source 3352 and the 3353, the highway block grant, to what actually came in, and also the 3356. So she made changes in the amount of $55,625.
And we knew that whole section was a state set rate that we didn't touch it when we were having our discussion.
Correct. And she also entered the requested overlay of $25,000.
We need to ask her to add another 60, is it 63 or 64?
63,334.
We need to have the last payment for the episode's utility settlement paid next year. 25 plus 63, 334. Give us what we need.
So Chuck, in previous discussions
Can I
on this
finish,
subject,
please? Thank you.
previous discussions on the subject, no?
Go on.
Okay, so the other thing you have is the tax rate breakdown. The changes resulted in a 68-cent increase to the tax rate. So the tax rate is 21.93. I also included a spreadsheet for you. Right? Did I include that? No. Oh,
Yeah, Lenny has it.
okay. So it's another sheet,
Oh.
yeah.
For that,
So I ran a couple different scenarios. If you were to put more money into, gosh, where did it go? I don't know, Andre. Using money out of the unreserved fund balance, I wanted to show you what that would do to bring the tax rate down. So I put in additional 75,000, which would bring the tax rate down to 2158. And then I put in an additional 150, and that would keep the tax rate flat. My recommendations are the taxpayers who would prefer to see that the capital reserve funds are being funded like we did last year out of the unreserved fund balance. And Tom's initial response was 68 cents. Cool, great, that's not much. So, but in learning about this Eversource, I would think maybe you'd want to take that out of the unreserved fund balance. I'm not sure, that's up to you, of course. But the state, on the back page of your tax rate, the state recommends retaining 17%. The town currently has 26%. So you do have a significant amount of money there.
and we have some great bridges and roads that we work for next year.
I
so
realize.
Expect a lot of that's going to get.
I realize that. You also had a reval last year, so you're going to have many people having higher tax bills.
And I hear about that regularly from the budget chair, so it's definitely on his mind. Yes, and it's part of that cycle every few years, we get whacked by the school, which drives us way up.
And my spreadsheet showed you that the school went up, I think it was $1.56, the town went down, the county went down.
So our portion of the bill next year will be less the state aid, 2,391,007, is that the number you've got?
Yes.
Okay. We do get a significant amount of state aid.
And that number ties to the letter that was in the mail.
And our county portion next year would be 1.2429%. No, that's this year, I'm sorry. The bill is about to be paid $219,317. That'll get us through next November. We have to pay that. All right. I think before we make a decision on this one, we had to have Tom involved in the discussion.
Yeah.
Did you happen to give Tom a copy of this information?
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to run the number of what the tax rate would be by adding that figure
We
back
do,
in?
we need to know that, yeah.
All right, so the, we want to get the tax bills out as soon as we can. Do we want to have another meeting
We could
later
do
this
one-
week?
we could do one this week, yeah.
Okay,
If you got open time this week.
Yep.
All right, so let's check with Tom, maybe we can do Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, and then we can get this done.
terrific.
Whatever, when he comes up with the date and time, we just need to make sure we post it. for
Yes,
Public meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
okay, did he get copies of this information?
No.
Oh, okay, well, he needs to see it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next item, announcements, town offices are closed November 11th, which is Veterans Day. So that means typically the meeting is moved to that Wednesday of that week.
No, it's not a Tuesday, it's a Thursday, so
It's
we're
Thursday.
safe.
Oh, we're safe this year.
All our meetings are
Okay,
Tuesdays.
good. All right, then we're good. Still on for Tuesday.
Yay.
We don't have any department and committee updates today that I'm aware of. Okay, public comment. We're gonna do this a little bit different than we did last week, and we're gonna go back to the format we had at the beginning of the year. Each individual person will have one time to speak, up to 5 minutes, making a statement or whatever you want to talk about. Audrey, would you basically kind of time that on your watch?
Sure.
So we can make sure we keep to that time period. So let's open up the public comment. Ms. Edwards.
On the meeting Thursday night, I think it is, on the Boyle Market thing, it says it's at the town hall. So I'm not quite sure where the meeting is.
No,
but I wanted to know.
it's here.
Here.
It's here.
Thank you.
Okay, can you change that to town? hall?
Yes.
'Cause I
I
totally
reached out
understand.
to Teresa.
A lot of people are gonna have the same question.
Yeah.
The other thing I had was, do we know how many kids participate in the rec program? Do we have any kind of figure?
There's actually a full report that HBoS has, that'll be part of the budget committee discussion.
Okay.
So that's an open public meeting,
Yeah.
and he's got the breakdown, number of kids, number of, you know, they've got like
57.
19, 20 programs, 7.
Also, I just want to say, I was here when that was started. And at that meeting with Mr. Herbert Thompson. And we skated along with the same price for a good many years.
We did.
Just want to put that out there.
But, no, we had a deal going for quite a while.
Yeah,
So,
okay, thank you.
Mr. Garceau.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate from last week, the MENA Planning Board thing tonight, it's third on the list, Thursday. So I'm not sure how much time is gonna be available to do the MENA project on that night. So I just wanna make sure that people still come, but don't get annoyed or aggravated that if we don't get to it.
You think the discussion will start Thursday night?
Don't know.
Okay, all right.
I know it's scheduled, but they
But
scheduled
scheduled is number
third on the
3.
list, so.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. People with interest will be following that, I think.
I think we will get to discuss it, but the other two before are just reviewing the applications. So it shouldn't take much time. Just
Could be,
Yeah.
could be, but also we've had trouble in the past with
Yeah.
people pretty annoyed that things didn't roll off right along like they would have been. So just wanted to mention it.
Good. Next
Maybe
up,
a
Vicky.
dumb question. When the ambulance goes up to Green Mountain, does our fire department, our police department respond to that?
Depends on the call.
Oh, okay. And are they charged for that from our departments?
No,
Or
just the-
that's part of their
just the ambulance
taxes?
fees.
Okay.
So, and Randy actually manages that with the ambulance company and with the police department. So it's not like every single call, everybody rolls. It's what's the call, what's the nature of the call, and then they determine who's gonna roll.
Okay.
Good question, though. Thank you.
I see it, well, I hear it on my scanner, but I just interested in it.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
Chuck, I was gonna ask you, I know there's downstream from the Snow Road Bridge, there's a rather large beaver blockage. And it seems to have resulted in high waters in upstream.
Yeah, it's about, the trapper basically sent me some pictures. It's about 6 feet tall, and that's what's creating that backwater, probably 2 feet of water. Just before the 2 recent storms we had, he actually went down and opened it up and brought the top of the dam down about 2 feet. And he set his traps in there and he caught 2 beaver. He reset the traps and then we started to have all the rain. So I actually had discussions, traded some information with him over the weekend. And he's fully aware of it. And as soon as he can get down there this week, he's gonna go down. And I've asked him to spend more time, if he could, opening up that dam. Because I told him we need to drop that water a good 2 feet before we get to winter and we get to freeze. So he's working on that. and we'll get that done, because it is higher than it should be by a long shot.
Okay. I just thought because some concerns were raised about elevations in the bridge, I just thought I'd bring something up to you with our permit, how that was created for this bridge project. And the bridge was put out,
And you were, Mike, you just said, let's set the record straight, you were the one that did 99% of the research work on this and brought it back to the board.
right, it
Okay.
basically was a project that, we had a project that was scheduled, had a permit, 41-foot span bridge, that didn't quite work out, so we needed another plan, and that's where I came in. And that's where we start, it really, it's actually with the original permit, it was filed with Effingham Engineering. Instead of having that just be a waste of money, I approached HEB to see if we could utilize that permit with an amendment to the state. And that's what we did. So the original freeboard height, which is, you have two things. The New Hampshire DOT has a 50-year flood program like standard, and you need one freeboard foot. That's a clear span of 1 foot over that flood height. The other thing you go for is the 100-year flood, where the cube can be absolutely even with the bridge. That's what Mr. Ekman had in his his work. So the original 41-foot span bridge was going to be even at a 100-year flood. Now, what we did with that is we amended that permit, and by final designs that were put in, as we solicited the contractors to give us designs. The town's engineers didn't design the bridge, so the drawings that went out initially weren't a design from our engineering firm. With that, what we have established right now today is a freeboard height of 1.3 feet above the 100-year flood. That is in excess of any requirements DOT, the state, anybody has. The other part of that is the bridge is physically 5.5 feet longer than the 41-foot bridge, giving you more of an
So
opening.
there's
as well.
more of an opening underneath the bridge for the water.
Right, which would increase that ratio. So the bridge height, based on the original work done, is absolutely far and above anything that's required and any standards that have been set throughout the permitting process or required by the state. And that's why I kind of brought up the point of the water buildup we saw outside of having some flash flooding was predominantly due to a downstream blockage in the river that's backing the water up to the bridge. The bridge has sufficient flow height.
And the downstream blockage is going to be an ongoing management issue because of the nature of beavers on the South River. So one of the things we need to do is sit back and do a little homework and research, maybe even call Fish and Game or US Wildlife Service to find out what methods we might be able to put in place to mitigate that dam area down. And it may mean we have to put in some kind of a pipe system down there to be able to have that, so it's not dammed up all the time. It's in a totally inconvenient location. We can't get equipment to it. Mark at the transfer station walked out there on Friday, and he said he was in pretty much water the entire time until he got to the dam. He said a couple times it went over his top of his boots. So, and he was wearing wellies. So it's in an area that's not easily accessible. So we're gonna have to come up with a solution, which we don't have even anything to think about at this point as to how we could do that.
Well,
I
that
have
would be-
experience in Milford at a dam that's probably a good 1/4 mile into the woods, and we had Skip Lyle of Vermont, but I don't know how tall the dam is, but he put a beaver deceiver right through the dam, and it's been successful. So I could ask him to give us a quote.
But with the size of that pipe, give us the volume we need.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can show you
It's
in
the width-
Milford.
It's the width of the bridge.
Yeah, This is,
feet deep.
yeah, this was a pond. I'll show you. I can
Okay,
show you and
alright.
send you information.
Yeah, I mean, we, at this point, we need to gather
Yeah.
any information we can.
Yeah.
Because we are gonna have to put something down there to help
Mm.
manage that, otherwise it's gonna deal with this spring and fall on an ongoing basis. So,
I'll provide that. I'll ask them. I can ask them about a quote and I can give you pictures of the dam
yeah, just get them out of here.
because it's amazing. Yeah.
Just keep in mind with the beavers, though, the food source, once after a couple of years, they move on.
Oh, several years.
Well, I mean, that's my experience. but
Yeah,
back when I
they
was-
just moved in down there. So
Yeah.
when we
So
took
it's
out
gonna be a
their
couple of
whole
years
Snow
before they
Road
move
Bridge,
on.
they moved down the river. And I thought it was the dam that was like 100 yards down below the bridge when you could stand on the bridge and see it. When we unplugged the bridge this year, it washed that one out pretty much. But when the water got low enough, you could still see it
Mhm.
sticking up. I thought that's where we were gonna have a problem. I didn't realize it was gonna be 400 yards downstream. So it's quite a ways down. So,
Have a beaver wild game supper for everybody.
now, I just
Hmm,
want
not
to
bad.
just want to get them out of there. Okay, anything else for public comment? Do we have anybody on the phone? Okay. All right,
I do have one question.
Sure.
We had to bring it up earlier. The logging trucks at State Forest coming out Wilkinson Swamp Road.
Yeah.
They put a bond up, right?
Yes.
they did.
Is it hammering the hell out of that road?
We are gonna need some work down. It's in there really good. So,
And Mr. Fisher down there is not very happy.
one of the neighbors down there.
Grover, yeah.
Okay.
Fisher. He's, I guess there's 2 different outfits or 3 different outfits in there cutting. I thought it was just Lucas, but
I think there's
But-
2 different cuts going on.
and
that.
Garland's in there too. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I just passed Nick Lucas on Wilkinson Swamp on my way here. I mean, on Hutchins, coming out of Hutchins Farm.
Yeah.
So,
Hutchins Pond Road,
yeah, so,
on the logging truck.
yeah, so I don't know if they're before the bridge,
Which
You know.
company is that?
Richard McLucas.
There's no logging of it.
Would you ask Joe and Sean, and or Sean to give them a friendly reminder that they had their one more? Thank you. Yeah, if we see people driving on Hunter's Bridge with logging trucks or tractor trailer trucks, we need to make that known to the police department so they can reach out to them and do a friendly reminder that it's well posted on either end of the bridge and the roads.
Yeah.
That they can't be on it.
I can't imagine they would come over that bridge, would they though? I mean. would
Oh, they do.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah, that was a predominant reason that we took a look at doing that. But the other thing is because it's a Conroy Road
Yeah,
bridge with all the logs in there, it's free floating. And with those heavy trucks going over it, that's what breaks up and makes the potholes.
Sure.
And we're having a heck of a problem.
Are we on 2 different roads, Hutchins Pond?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Right.
I'm thinking Hunter's Bridge.
But
Sorry.
that bridge is in tough shape out there.
I respect it.
But
Okay.
they came out of Hunter's Bridge this morning, Hunter's Bridge Road this morning.
Hunter's, okay.
Hutchins is a no.
Excuse me, Hutchins Pond.
Hutchins,
Jesus.
okay.
That's all that.
Okay.
That should be posted.
My God,
as well.
50-50 chance there.
there we go.
The-
So I came around Jones Road this morning, my bad, thanks.
okay.
But I was surprised to see him coming out of there, but would they cross that? They wouldn't cross that bridge. would they?
Jeez. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't, but I'm sure they do. So
Are we logging this side of the
that's up in
bridge?
the state
That's
forest. I
state
didn't know
forest,
that.
That's should be posted. We haven't posted it. The signs were missing last I checked. So that is a no trucking road as well, no food trucks. But
I don't think
they
they
should
signed
be out
us
the
there.
other
Now,
side.
and I know I'm talking to Tom because we had to use 4 signs down
Right.
at Hunter's Bridge. And he had ordered a huge lot of them, so I only think we've got like 1 or 2 signs left. So.
Doesn't that bridge have a 3-ton sign?
I think it's a 6 ton.
Six.
6 ton?
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't matter at that point, right?
Yeah, Hutchins Pond's a six ton bridge.
6 ton?
But it's supposed to be posted anyway, so
Gotcha.
shouldn't be any worry. Okay, we can, yeah, I just reach out to him and remind him that. If he's working up in there, that's different, but. you know, just remind him
I
that.
only had one call recently of a company working on Nutter.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
On another road?
Mhm.
We haven't even started there yet.
No, it should be any day though.
Oh,
They said
yeah.
this week.
He was in there yesterday.
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, they call me ahead of time
Oh, yeah.
and I let the police know.
I think the intents go for like at least a year.
You had your one.
Uh,
Do we need non-public?
They could use one, but I'd wait for Tom.
Okay, all right. And you have anything else?
No,
Audrey, you have anything else?
Nothing, thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
one second.
All those in favor, full right.
Aye.
Thank you very much, folks.
It's like.
Have a great week, gentlemen.
Right.
Ladies.
See you Thursday.
See you Thursday.